Hey guys, welcome back to my Minecraft world. It's episode 45 and we're doing a lore episode this time. So I'm going to have to go on a little bit of a journey. I've already transported my building materials over there. Yeah, I've already prepared an area, and what I'm doing this episode is, you know what, I'm not even going to say what it is, and maybe you can guess while I'm building it. But this is a hint, but not really. Yeah, I've already found a spot. It's a little bit of a trek away from my town and starter village and stuff. It's not too far actually. I think those portals should be here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I found this island in the middle of a lake, and yeah, I'm gonna transform it. So yeah, I've got all my materials here already, and yeah, we'll get started, and then once I'm done, we can go through the lore behind it and talk through some of the builds that take place here. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Okay guys, welcome back. I have finished building all this stuff. So what the hell have I built? Right, lore episode. So what this is, hold on, I wrote it down in a specific way so I'd remember it correctly. Right, this is essentially, let's get a bird's eye view. This is essentially a magically protected sort of sacred meeting place where the council of like the leaders of the different races, the elves, the humans and the dwarves, they would come together here in this like protected space. I've realized now that I can't actually see anything from where I'm standing. Yeah, they would come here in this protected space, neutral ground between the three races, and they would like strategize in the war against like all the hostile mobs and like bolster their alliances with like politics and stuff, and come here to agree on stuff and like govern and whatnot. So let's start at the beginning, like chronologically. So ignore all this floating purple stuff, and we'll start with... Oh, this cow wants to be in the video while I was sipping my coffee. Oh, he's had enough. Okay. So originally this place was, because it's so secluded, it's a little island in a lake. There was nothing on here except some trees. So originally this was a place where, like, the first ever human magic users, the first human mages, being like persecuted for being like scary witches or whatever, like the hostile mob witches. The general human population confused them with the hostile mobs. So they hunted down witches just like in our real life history. So they needed places like this in order to like hide, just meet each other, learn from each other, practice their magic. Kind of inferring from that, humans inherently not magical, but start to manifest magic over time. So at some point in, like, further along in history, elves discover that some humans are starting to show magical aptitude, and they kind of form an alliance, not with humans fully yet, but they start to sort of take human mages under their wing and teach them a bit of magic. And so one of the things they teach them is the construction of these sort of Stonehenge sort of structures that I've got going on here, which are all sort of crumbled and fallen apart, but they were... Oh, this is a bad example. Let's find one that's a little more intact. I guess this one, it's kind of like a little gateway sort of thing. It's like a lens which humans could like focus their magic through, and then they're kind of encircling the island a little bit. Let's kind of go around, sort of dotted around the island, and they're in fact dotted around the island in a circle, similar to these funky purple things in the sky, which I'll get back to. But yeah, these were sort of encircling the island so that they can create this sort of shield magic barrier thing to help hide them and keep them safe. Actually, this is something that I need to remember, because at some point I need to do like an evolved version of what's happened in this part of human history and build like this universe's version of Hogwarts. Elf Alliance first starts with elves and human mages. They help them with learning magic. And then, in fact, another part of this is because these are all ruined and like falling apart and like crumbling and stuff, that kind of reflects how I think about the difference between human magic and elf magic. So I've even got a little tower up here. This is probably like a little outlook tower or like a beacon of some sort for mages. Maybe they would see it from afar or something. And now it's just this like small little wreck of a building, completely just overgrown and like left to ruin. But why is that? If it's post elves teaching humans some of their own magic. So in Lord of the Rings, in like the Tolkien universe, there's a thing with the Undying Lands where, like in the movies, that's where all the elves are leaving. They're all going back to the Undying Lands, or they're all going there, I guess, some of them for the first time maybe. But they, like if a human went there, there's a thing where it's like the Undying Lands was created for elves, and elves are immortal. So the Undying Lands is so unchanging and like everything's so permanent there that a human going there would live out the rest of their life but it would feel like 6 months or something because everything's so that there's like no frame of reference for time passing. So the way I have interpreted that sort of idea for my world is elvish magic is all about that sort of like keeping things sort of preserved and prolonging their ideal state or something like that, or feeding something energy to make it sort of perpetually rejuvenated. Keeping things vital. So that kind of feeds into this giant tree that we've got in the middle. But then human magic is like the opposite of that. It's all immediate and solutions to short-term problems and stuff. So it would be like more offensive magic. So like using spells and stuff. So think Harry Potter dueling club sort of thing. Defense against the dark arts stuff for human magic, but elf magic is more defensive and strategic, maybe. Thinking ahead, long-term sort of thing. And then I guess dwarf magic. I really need to delve into dwarves more. I've done so much human and elf stuff, and I haven't put as much thought into dwarves yet. But I guess dwarf magic is way more practical and functional. So I imagine they would use magic in like mining and stuff. But yeah, probably a happy medium between elves and humans. Anyway, so we start with humans come here. Eventually, elves make friends with them, teach them how to build these warding Stonehenge type structures, like lensing structures to focus magic through, and humans can use it to create their own magical barrier around this place. But then progressing even further into like more recent times, still ancient history though, these structures have already started to crumble by this point. But oh, have they found me? I think they found me. Let's go over here. Yeah, at some point we have an alliance fully now between elves, humans, and the dwarves. So they pick up this place as sort of a neutral ground where the three races can come together. They build this council of leaders from each race, and this place becomes like a neutral, safe ground that they can come and like do their interspecies diplomacy and all this sort of stuff. So the first thing that happens is the elves come and they notice that these human structures have not lasted. The human mages probably don't come here anymore even. They've gone off and made their school now, and they've got that like safe bastion to teach people magic. And so the elves come in and they create their own version of this, like these warding stones, these magical crystals. And actually, let's go up in the sky. So we've got this circle around the island, creating its own magical force field. And the way I put these in a circle is, let's stand, I think it's right here, directly under like this master crystal up here. And then we do mini HUD. I cannot remember where those spawn spheres were for, but if we go cylinder, add shape, and it's a 40 radius. Escape. There we go. And turn on mini HUD. There we go. How do I mini HUD? Height. Let's just go 25. There we go. So, yeah, I used mini HUD to create this cylinder around the center, which is this crystal here. So we can use this to sort of envision the magical shield around the island. It's kind of cool, right? I think. I mean, I'm just for the sake of seeing where it is. I would never just leave this on because it's ugly as hell. But yeah, that's what these floating crystals are. And I've got like, in fact, can I put on shaders a sec? Hopefully that, there we go, that makes them a bit more luminous. And got all these like little shards of magic just bursting off them. Yeah, and it's all like in funky shapes around the central crystal. There's like it's pulsating or something. And then there's the master crystal in the sky. Oh, dear me. Chug. Let's turn that off again. Yeah. So, much stronger, more permanent magic here. Let's land the tree and do a quick sleep. So yeah, that's the first thing that happens. We have this new magical shield put up. And then to sort of welcome everyone, or not welcome everyone, but give everyone their own space. Their own space to sort of exist on the island when they're not in a meeting or whatever, they're on break or whatever. We've got 3 little like hangout spots. The smallest one, I guess, is the elf one, because the elves, I mean, they kind of just, they're like one with the forest and stuff, so they can just like patrol around the area and just be happy amongst the trees and stuff. But there's also, I guess, in the way that we've got the Stonehenge type things as the sort of the lens to focus magic, this is the small little elf magic focusing structure. And I've got like the enchanting table to be like the magical thing, like a tome that they read from or something for their incantations. And then this is like a little mini slave crystal to the master one up there to like connect. I don't know. And then I've got like the magic shards dancing around it and stuff again. Yep, and then this is the same sort of design I've used in the elf town in a previous lore video. So that's the elf little hangout spot, and then we've got this sort of winding path goes around the island. This is down to the dwarf one, but I'll go this way because this actually leads primarily to the way that everyone gets here, which is this little like outgrowth of the nether into the overworld. And this just takes me back. This is where I came here from the nether roof. And yeah, there's just some, I needed a way to hide some lighting in here. I didn't want to do too much glowberries, so yeah, I snuck in a bit of crimson biome. Yeah, I like this like scarring of the nether onto the overworld. Right next to this, we have the little human camp spot. I've previously talked about elves not needing to sleep, but humans do. So they've got a little like sleep area, little campfire where they might come back here and like deliberate over whatever the proceedings were in the meetings. Got a little storage, maybe there's food in here or something. Yeah, little human place. And then this actually leads up to the little ruined tower, which might still hold some significance for the humans. That's why this one's down here. And then, yes, let's go back this way. And have I talked about the nether roof? I don't know if I've talked about this yet in a video, but the travel via the nether roof is sort of an elf magic thing in my world. So it's probably something they discuss here, even like through alliance with the elves, is the different races either learning how to create portals onto the roof or navigating like elf like pathways and stuff. Anyway, this is the dwarf section, and this is the biggest one because dwarves are prideful, and because they're small in stature, they wanted to have the biggest like place on the island. So this actually was, for the most part, In fact, no, this is entirely a natural cave that I've just dressed up a bit. I put some slabs in the roof to change the shape of it a little bit and stuff. But yeah, this is a little dwarf, and it's a little bear, but I wanted it to look like it was like carved into the stone, not like they put too much extra stuff in here. So there's just some stuff, pillars holding up the ceiling, and whatnot. We've got this sort of thing that I've done. I did it in episode 25 when I did my first dwarf structures there. So yeah, there's just netherrack behind here. There's netherrack over here as well. I've borrowed the sort of fire station flower thing that I did, where it's the torch flowers for the fire station. I think I'm going to use torch flowers a lot for the dwarves as well, because they, like, fire is one of their sort of cultural symbols, and they worship the sun god's dragon avatar on the earth. So yeah, I think torch flowers is going to be like the dwarf flower. Yeah, so dwarf banners, some more dwarf banners down here. They've got the biggest sort of chill out spot and whatnot. And then yeah, this is just campfires in here. And I didn't know there was lava here. Again, no way, there's lava just right under here. That's kind of cool, actually. If I'd realised that... This is how much I play with no sound on. I've, like, designed this whole place in creative and never heard there was lava around here. If I'd realised that, I could have punched a hole through here, put some campfires under here, and had the lava be what's, like, lighting up this room. Anyway, yeah, this is just the dwarf hangout spot, and they have to have fire underground because of their... It matches their dragon worship stuff. So then the other thing they do is, as part of their first meeting, is they plant a birch tree, and each race sort of imbues it with this, like the sapling that's been planted, with their own brands of magic. And particularly like the dwarves, they put like a blessing on it because of their ability and their like thing about the sun. They like worship the sun and call for it to like help their crops grow underground where they live. So they're good at like getting stuff to grow, and like the elf magic to like maintain the thing's vitality and whatever, and then just like the burst of like immediate energy from the humans. And then like skip ahead probably a couple of thousand years, and now we have this magically infused giant birch tree, which yeah, just towers above the rest. And I really suck at building custom trees, and this actually, from certain angles, I kind of hate this thing. But I still like it. I don't know, sometimes I look at it, like I've lived with this for a few weeks now, after designing it in creative. Like here it's not so bad. I like this. It kind of, if I zoom in on it, it kind of looks like a bonsai tree almost. But then the way I've designed this, I've not designed it to be looked at from multiple angles really. It's meant to be just this thing that towers over this area. And then, in fact, the way I've designed it, like where I've put leaves and branches and stuff, is from above, making sure the sort of the footprint of the tree is covered in, like, there's no, like, you can't just fall through it. There's leaves will catch you on the way down in every direction. Right? So there's no gaps. This is a gap, but that I've already fallen through. So, you know what I mean? Hopefully. Maybe. But yeah, so that's what the giant tree's about. It's like a symbol of the strength of the alliances made here and whatnot, and what can be accomplished when they come together. Okay, so I guess the main thing that I've not talked about yet is this place. So I wanted to try and represent each race here in this sort of meeting circle area. So, like, the most overt way I've done it is I've got the faction banners here. And then I've got a block that sort of represents each faction. So copper I use for humans just all the time, as part of their kind of semi-religious background, and their interaction with one of the gods of my world. The elves, similarly with a geode, and that's what the pattern on the banner is meant to be, is a geode. So that's why I've got the amethyst block, and it's like, I guess, a magical item as well, because I've used it in, it's like part of the crystals and whatnot. And then this block of cobbled deep slate here is a placeholder. So ever since they added all those new tough blocks, or I guess are about to add those new tough blocks, I think I want to make that sort of the cultural block palette for the dwarves. I'm gonna definitely use them a lot in my human structures and stuff, because I think they look so good. Like I've been watching the current season of Hermitcraft, where they've kind of added those new the new tough blocks and the new copper blocks and stuff with like a data pack or something, and just the design of them, the shade of grey that they are, and the patterns on the chiseled blocks and stuff. Oh, it all looks so good, and it look like the tough wall blocks and stuff. It's just, I can't wait to build with those. But so yeah, this is a placeholder until those chiseled blocks come in and like the polished tough or whatever. But I managed to sneak some tough into the circle. So circle in the floor is a like elvish design that I've done a bunch of times, where like a geode is represented in the floor. So I've not done a geode necessarily, but there's like distinct central circle, and then like on a geode this would be calcite, and then this polished andesite here would be the smooth basalt. So yeah, that's representative of that. These hovering stools, that's what they're meant to be. These are like suspended elvish magic seats for everyone attending at the meeting can sit on. And then, yeah, we've got more crumbling old human settlement walls around here, where maybe there was a bigger tower here at some point, but this is all that's left. It's been removed or destroyed, or maybe like the Great Wall of China, there's like not much of it left now, supposedly, because local people or local whoever takes it for building materials, they just take chunks of it. So maybe that's the thing that's happened here, I don't know. But either way, it's all overgrown. Look at all this manually placed grass that I've put around here. It's meant to be like, you look at this and it's part of the profile of this wall here is the grass around it. Oh yeah, and how did I miss? I've become blind to the floating candles now, but this is another thing I did in the elf town. There's the floating candles. I've done it in the castle in my town as well, because I don't know, maybe that's another thing that the elves taught humans. Floating candles. Some more like Hogwarts imagery to denote magic. So yeah, this is the meeting place. Originally I was envisioning like Council of Elrond sort of thing, and there was maybe a semicircle of seats, and then like a Elrond stands at one side or whatever. But yeah, the circle is kind of it's already a symbol for me with the elves. So yeah, I've kept it a circle. And then sort of moving into much more recent history, this place has today, I guess, become more of like the spawn temple that I built. It's become more of a touristy place, like maybe like more of a pilgrimage place for people who like revere the elves and the dwarves, because there's not really elves and dwarves around anymore. So this place is kind of has long since served its purpose, and it's not used anymore for a meeting of leaders and stuff. So there's a new place where the council meets, and it looks a lot different to this, but this sort of idea will still be represented there because of like history and cultural significance and stuff. But yeah, I'll get to that in the next lore episode, which will be a special one because it's episode 50. So yeah, more on this sort of council of world leaders sort of idea still to come. Before I head back to town, let's just look at some little details and stuff that I've done around here. So we've got the birch trees and some oak trees around. So the bushes I've done azalea, not just because it sticks out as a different color, but I like using azalea when I know that they've grown well and they've been tended to, which isn't the case here probably because this place isn't used anymore, but the elf magic preserves them. So we've got that. What are the? I like the effect I've got from this like texturing of the birch tree. To get these sorts of shapes, I needed a stair block, so diorite was kind of my only choice. But I like these sort of patches where we've got the calcite here and we've got the diorite, where it's like these dark patches and these light patches, which I guess you could say is like the texture of birch anyway. It's having these like splotches in amongst the pale bit. But also it could be like these sort of pale patches where it's calcite is where there's been like magical exponential growth or something. And the spotty bits haven't been able to grow in because it grew so fast in this one little patch or something. And then the way I've sort of tried to texture the leaves is I try to go birch, oak, and then azalea. So it looks like, I don't know, the sun's shining down on it, or maybe the proximity of the leaves on top of these patches of leaves is like it's closer to the magical shard in the sky above them. Or maybe it's just like lighting, like the sun shining down on it. It's lighter on the top. I've tried to do something here, which I don't know if this has worked necessarily, but got some more of these like pillars holding up some stone arch sort of stuff here. Little cave keeping the ceiling held up. So I've got a quartz block and spruce, which is meant to be kind of the elf version of the dwarf structures down here, where I've got deep slate and dark oak. I forgot to add a bit about the tough blocks with the dwarves. I was thinking deep slate was going to be the primary block for the dwarves. That's why I've got it in the back here, as like what the dwarves built into this cave. So yeah, I think tough is going to be the thing. And I like using polished basalt. I like using this as pillars. So we've got that. That might make an appearance as well. I need to sit down and think about that once those blocks are added into the game. And then I did think of something with these stone structures, these like little henge things. Yeah, I used cobble for the bulk of it, because I wanted them to look a bit more ancient. And that's not because, like, oh, there's a mossy variant, so yeah, you can like make it look like it's overgrown by the landscape or something. But I like to think that maybe this represents the lack of sophisticated tools available to the people that made this so long ago. They didn't have advanced enough tools to work with in order to make like smoother stone pillars. But the cobbles are like pieces that maybe they're not held together with mortar or something. They're held together with magic. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was like a little detail that I could read into this little mini block palette for these little structures. Or maybe it's not even that there weren't tools then, because I imagine there's, at this point, when the first mages are coming here to hide and stuff, maybe it's not that they didn't have the tools culturally, like societally. Maybe it's that they just didn't have access to them. Maybe that's what it is to read into the cobblestone, is that because they were like persecuted amongst the humans for being freak magic users before it became commonplace. Maybe they just couldn't get the tools because they would get attacked, or they might lead wrong. Like they might lead people hunting witches to this place if they went and got them or something. And then I guess over here, I like my little tent. I've got the copper colours in the wall. I've got this little hatch on top to I don't know how people would open and close it, but it's closable for when it's raining or when the campfire's not in use. Just a pointless, useless detail that's never going to get used for this, but it builds the world more fully for me, so I like this sort of stuff. I had a trapdoor left over, and I just realised where it's meant to go. There it is. My god. Ah. I guess I'm done now then. That's the end of the build. Let me get some more rockets and time to head home. So as I'm flying back, I'd love to get any feedback on like the lore stuff and like the build and sort of the world building stuff. Okay, made it back, and next time it's back to town building, back to getting a chunk done, and I have added some more road. So yeah, between videos, this is what I've done. I've cut down so many trees to get tons of wood, and I'm going to fill out this big square here. But yeah, I added all this road in. There's all these little bits in because there's a bunch of buildings going to go here. But yeah, it's going to be some more houses, and it'll be different sort of build style. So we've got these sort of things where these were inspired by like a road of colourful buildings in Edinburgh, in Scotland. It won't be like them. Got more buildings in that sort of style over here where they line the riverside. Yeah, it won't be like them either. And got these houses over here, which are like super old, well preserved from the very first buildings built in the founding of the town. Oldest style, preserved to this day. It won't be like these either. And in fact, I have mentioned a couple of times where I've got the inspiration from in this video to make these houses. So yeah, it should be Should be cool, hopefully. I've already got all the materials prepared. And there's so much jungle wood. My god, it was like a whole day of just cutting down, and spruce and jungle trees for a whole day. But yeah, I watched a bunch of my current sort of background show is NCIS because that just made it to Disney Plus over here. So that's why I was watching, or rather it was on in the background while I was tediously cutting down trees. But anyway, that's for next time. So yeah, that's it for this time, guys. Social links, if you want to follow me elsewhere, in the description. If you want to help me out on YouTube, maybe you could leave a like. And if you want to join me on my world building journey, maybe you could hit subscribe as well. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.